Genesis chapter 6, verse 13, where God is now going to make his own deliberations about what he's going to do with the corrupted earth known to righteous Noah. Kai epen hotheos pros Noe, kairos pantos anthropou, eke enantianmu, hati epleisthe hege adikias ap alton, ke edu ego kataphthero altus kai tain gain. Well, the first line here is fairly straightforward. Now we have a continuation of the narrative with God is going to now speak to Noah here, who was introduced in prior verses, standing out as a bright light amid a very dark era. And this is what God says. Kairos pantos anthropou, so the season or time of all mankind, if you will, has come. AK there is the third singular present active indicative from heko, which is to come, so heke, and nantion mu, has come before me. Now let me pause on this use of kairos here. I find that to be an interesting translational choice. The Masoretic, as we have it, is kates, and that typically means the end point or something to that effect. Aquila has telos, so that's pretty similar. And Symmachus has peros, which is a little bit farther away from this notion of an end point or the end or purpose, but pretty close. It typically means like across from. And then some other sources of the Old Greek have pleroma, fullness. And so the general sense, let's assume that this represents the original Hebrew that the Old Greek translator had in front of him. You have this idea that it's the end of all man. The translator, though, has chosen more of a really redemptive historical way of taking it, although Cates gets that as well, saying there is a time frame here. The clock has been ticking with mankind, and now the alarm is going off, something to that effect in terms of the interpretation. So I find that to be quite interesting. And why is the time at its end? Why has it come before God? Hati, that's an explanatory, because a pleisthe, that's from pimplemi, and this is a third singular aorist passive indicative with that theta eta plus an e on the front end. This means to fill up. What has filled up? The subject here is the earth. The earth has been filled up with adikias, that is unrighteousness or injustice, from them, that is from mankind. So all the peoples on the earth that are always deliberating about evil and so forth, they filled the earth with injustice. And then we have a kai idu, behold, here's his declaration of his judgment. Ego, I myself, kataphthero. We've seen this verb previously, like in verse 12, first singular, present active indicative, and that means to destroy or to ruin. You can look back at the prior video for the lexicon for that. So I myself destroy. Now I find the ending theologically to be quite interesting. He's going to destroy them, that is mankind. Notice the shift to the plural here, and the earth. And I find that to be interesting. Of course, this is also found in the Masoretic as well. Mankind has been filling the earth with sin, but God is going to destroy not just the people, but also the earth. And I don't know if this is a direct allusion back, but either way, we can sort of think about it this way. If you go all the way back to Genesis 3:17, ages ago in Daily Dose, after the fall of Adam, when they eat the forbidden fruit, God pronounces a curse upon the earth, the gay. That's what we see here. But it's often easily overlooked. He's cursing the earth because of Adam's fall. There's this intertwined relationship between mankind's sin and the curse that is poured out upon the created earth. We see that also reflected in Romans 8:19. Very interestingly, in Romans 8, where Paul makes this fascinating comment, which really does go back to the Genesis narrative, that creation is waiting with eager longing. In fact, he'll go on to say that it's groaning up until the present time. Why? For the revealing of the sons of God, the apocalypse of the regenerate ones at the end of time is what will fix creation. So what's interesting in the broader Genesis narrative is that mankind thrust the earth into sin, and so the earth is now waiting for the redemption of man, for it to be fully liberated from this curse that's a part of. And I think perhaps something like that broader theology at least, is underneath this clause, that God is destroying the earth because of us, because of mankind. There's, again, this intertwined relationship. So very interesting stuff. He's not only going to flood the earth, it's going to impact humanity. He's not only impacting humanity, it's going to destroy and really reshape the earth as well. So interesting stuff there at the end of Genesis 6, verse 13.